Okay, well, we are back. Long time no see. I know I haven't done a video in a while, but I'm back here now. So, today, I'm going to be ranking all 30 NBA teams regular season. How they did. Was it up to our expectations? Was it lower? Did they do something great? Did they do something horrible? We'll see. We have a lot of tanking teams on here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat them as if they are tanking. We know that the Pacers are tanking. We know, I'm not going to spoil it, but like the Kings, the Nets, and like those type of teams, we know they're tanking. But there are different levels to tanking. So, let's get straight into it. First, we have the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to put the Hawks at, I'm thinking A tier. Now, look, I want to give them a B or a C, but right now as I'm recording this video, they're the 5th seed in the East. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is looking like he's the most improved player, and although they traded away Trae Young and they got scraps, I do think that they made what's best of this situation. They have the Pelicans and the Bucks pick for next year, which is the best of the two. That's amazing. They are going to be in the playoffs this year, and they can kind of get a good feel of the team, how it works in the playoffs. And then next year, they'll probably be back again in the playoffs, but with a lottery pick. They could even have DeBonsa. They could have a Boozer. They could have one of those great players coming out of college this year, and who knows? They've really poised themselves to be in a position to be successful next year. So that's why I'm going to put them A tier. Celtics. It's S tier. I hate to do it, but it's S tier. For this to be a leap year for them, Jaylen Brown just put out a tweet the other day saying, 50 wins for a leap year. Greatness. That's it. It really shows greatness. And like I said, with it being a leap year for the Celtics, they really showed that they are a great team. And right now they're the 2nd seed. And who knows? They might catch up to the Pistons. I don't know. Don't think they will, but hey, I digress. Jason Tatum returned. They traded for Vucevic. He's out right now, but, he's been doing good nonetheless. There's a lot of things that the Celtics team has done that is great. They have, I think they've really developed some of the young players better than some of the other tanking teams on this list. Like, they developed Jordan Walsh good. They developed Hugo Gonzalez, and they've really found gems in their deep bench. So it's an S tier. It's an S tier. Being second in the being 2nd seed right now, 2nd in the East, having Jason Tatum return, they are poised to win the championship. Maybe this year. I don't know if they will, just because Tatum isn't. He's not looking like himself last year. I do think he may need some reps in the playoffs, but nonetheless, S tier. The Brooklyn Nets. So, like I said before, there's a lot of tanking teams on this list. I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets are a C tier. Usually, when you look at a losing team like the Nets, you want to put them in F tier. And I understand that. But I do think that taking into consideration that they are tanking and, they may have done really, really horrible drafting their 5 picks last year. They got MPJ. They got off of Cam Thomas. He's not going to be getting a bag this year from them. They have Nick Claxton. They have Noah Clowney. They have been developing Yegor Demon, Drake Powell, and all those young players. And I think that they've done a lot better than some of the other tanking teams, because a tanking season, is all about developing those young players. It's all about trying to go for the lowest draft pick. And they've done it. They're one of the lowest teams, but they've got the most out of it. I definitely think that next year, they're going to be okay. They're not going to be playoff worthy, but they're going to be okay. Something I should add is that there was an article that had come out saying that this is the last year that they have the rights to their picks, so they don't have any reasons to start tanking. So next year they're gonna have to go for it, and I think they prop themselves up nicely for it. Charlotte Hornets. I think I want to put them S, right? But I think it's A. Now I say A, and it may be crazy that it's only an A, but I do think that there is a lot left to learn. They are a young team, and there could have been some more moves that they could have done. I love that they got Kobe White. I think that was one of the best acquisitions during the trade deadline. And with Con Knipple, I don't want to say taking a leap per se, but he came in, they won Summer League, and nobody really batted an eye to them winning Summer League. But real ball knowers like me, I looked at that and like, wow, Con can actually lead a team. Like, he really showed that he is a good player. He's a good leader. He's great on the court. They did so well drafting him. They knew what they wanted. Is this the result they expected? Probably not. But with all things considered, Con being such, great, might be rookie of the year, and them being, I believe they're the 7th seed right now, looking to be in the play-in, might go into the playoffs. Who knows? Hey, this is a great season for them, from them being what they were last year. The Bulls. I'm putting them D tier. Like, the Bulls have not done anything too good per se. They had an active deadline, kind of. They got off Vucevic. Everybody was saying to get off of him. It was a bit too late, I'd say. I like to say that they traded him a bit too late. They should have traded him last year when his value was higher, but hindsight 2020. At the trade deadline, they got Rob Dillingham, and they aren't playing him much. But even when they are, he isn't looking too good. They traded away Kobe White for not that great of deal, for basically scraps. What I'm saying is that this Bulls team still doesn't know where they want to be. They're still in a position where they are, like, they're not making it into the play-in this year, so maybe they've decided to go for the tank. Maybe. With the whole Jaden Ivey situation, I also want to put them in D tier for that. Like they should have handled that. And anyways, I'm not here to make a video on that, but nonetheless, they still don't know where they want to be, and it's about time that they do. That they need to actually figure out a plan of where they want to go in the future, because it's been almost a decade or two, depending on your preference, that we've seen a good Bulls team. Like, the last Bulls team that I actually actively watched was the one with DeMar DeRozan. And, it's mainly because he was a Raptor and I love watching him play. But nonetheless, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know where they're going. D tier. The Cavs. I'm putting them B tier. Now, right now, I believe they're 4th. They're the 4th seed right now. And I don't know. I like what they did at the deadline with Darius Garland. They I can't even say I actually do like it. That's the thing. Like, it's a good trade for both teams, for the Clippers and the Cavs, but they traded a 26-year-old for a 36-year-old. So that they're going for the ring this year. But how are you going to trade for an all-time playoff choker like James Harden? He's notoriously bad in the playoffs. He notoriously doesn't do, right by the team during the playoffs. So why trade for him? He's looking good with the Cavs, don't get me wrong. And Donovan Mitchell's looking good. Evan Mobley's looking good. Jared Allen's looking good. They're all looking good. But the one thing that really irks me is, James Harden being on this team. I think he'll be the biggest detriment. But, time will tell. But overall, it's a B tier season. They didn't take a great leap. They might have regressed a bit, actually. But all in all, it's a B tier. The Mavs. I'm putting them C tier. Now, they are really, really bad. They're a really bad team. We know this. But, they were intentionally bad. Well, I'm not going to say they were intentionally bad. I don't think any team wants to be intentionally bad. They got off of Anthony Davis. That was a big move. And I cannot recall what the hell they got because it's that insignificant. because the biggest thing of this team was Cooper Flag. I believe that like Cooper Flag is looking to be Rookie of the Year. You know, there's Khan, VJ, and there's Cooper Flag. They all are poised to be Rookie of the Year. But one thing that I do like that the Mavs did was they at least developed him. They gave Cooper Flag all the minutes. And when you have a generational talent like him, you obviously are going to give him all the minutes. Whether you're on OKC, whether you're on Charlotte, no matter the team that you're on, you're going to give Cooper Flag minutes because he deserves them. He is a generational talent. Maybe it's too early to say that, but that's just my opinion. I do think, though, that, you know, them being a tanking team, they at least they at least developed some of the young talent, which was Cooper Flag. Ryan Nembhard was doing great this year. Other than that, I definitely think those are the two young stars on that team, and I'm excited to see what they have in store next year. But yeah, okay, the Nuggets. I think right now they're 5th in the West. I don't know. I think the Nuggets trading for Cam Johnson was an interesting move. It was a move that a lot of people thought should have happened, and they were like, you know, make this happen. This is great. I just think that it could have been done at a better time. Cam Johnson, throughout the whole season, still hasn't, you know, understood his role on the team. He doesn't know what he's doing on the team. You know, when you watch a game, if you haven't watched a Nuggets game yet, I implore you watch a Nuggets game to see what I'm talking about. Cam Johnson doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not saying he's a bad player, because he is. Wait, I mean, he's not. He's a good player. But he was a better player on Brooklyn. Obviously, everybody's a better player on Brooklyn. We've seen what it does to MPJ. He's amazing right now. But 29 points per game, something. Like, that's just like, it's nuts. You know, he's doing great on Brooklyn, but it's because that's Brooklyn. Because they're giving more minutes to you to just play out. They're tanking. So Cam Johnson was going to do good on Brooklyn anyways. It was the Nuggets that's the real test. I think that him being on the Nuggets and showing that his numbers can't stay the same and he can't mesh well is a big testament to who he is as a player. Maybe it's because he's been on Brooklyn for so long that he just knows the feel of that. Nonetheless, though, it's a B-tier type of season. They didn't make much of a leap. Jamal Murray was really the only person who I can say made a good leap this year. Nikola Jokic is still looking great. Nonetheless, yeah, Peyton Watson's also looking good too. Yeah, I don't know. It's a B-tier type of season. It's okay. They met the expectations we had for them, or maybe under. But anyways, Detroit basketball, Detroit Pistons. You know, I love the Pistons. They're going into S tier, and it's not biased or anything, but they're the 1 seed, and for them to be the 1 seed is nuts. Like, they had to go through the Knicks. They had to go through. That's it. The Knicks were really the only contender for the 1st seed, but nonetheless, though, the Knicks are a good team. But we'll get to them. Detroit being the team that they are now, and being so efficient, their defense is great, their offense is even better. Cade Cunningham really looked like an MVP candidate this year. Unfortunately, you know, he's not eligible for that anymore after he won't be playing the rest of the season. Hopefully he can be back for the playoffs. Dennis Jenkins is looking great. You know, he's a great point guard. He's obviously not Cade Cunningham, but he fits so well into the offense there. I can't see them not, you know, having him in the long run. You know, or maybe flipping him for a better asset. Who knows? But nonetheless, this Detroit team is looking amazing. The Detroit team is looking like one of the favorites. If Cade comes back, they're definitely the favorites for the championship. I don't see anybody else in the East that can really take them, you know, 4 games. Maybe Hornets an upset, Celtics, Knicks, you know. But other than that, I don't really see anybody else taking them. But yeah, S tier season. The Dubs, Golden State Warriors, Curry, Butler, Draymond, Quinton Post. C tier. I'm only giving them C tier because it hasn't been a good season. Obviously, it hasn't been a good season for them. They didn't do much at the deadline. They did get Kristaps, which, you know, he's a unicorn. He's a one of one. But they don't play him much. So how is he gonna be a unicorn for your team if you don't play him much? It's worthless. He's a worthless player at that point. But they've been riddled with injuries. You know, Curry, Butler, they've been injured for such a long time. Butler isn't playing the rest of the season, unfortunately. You know, at such an old age, you would think that he might retire next year. But it's Jimmy Butler at the end of the day. But even before that, he wasn't playing as, you know, Jimmy Butler usually does. Curry was looking good as always. I just think that this team, it could have done more. You know, and for a lot of these teams, it comes down to what they did at the deadline. And, you know, obviously the games they won and what they did, but mainly the deadline. All these teams could have done something more. Like, especially the Dubs. They got Kristaps, and it was cool. But they should have moved off of Jimmy. They should have moved off of a bunch of other people. You know, they don't play Quinton Post. Well, I think they do now, but they don't usually play him often. And he's a young player for them. Like, I don't understand. If you're an old team riddled with injuries, why not play your young players? Maybe I just don't have that coach's mindset. Maybe I don't understand much. But that's just my opinion. I don't really have much else to say, you know, to that. I really think they should have just went for the tank this year. They should have went for the tank this year and just came back better next. All in all, yeah, it's a C tier. Houston Rockets. Now, this is interesting because I want to give them an S tier. I definitely think the first start of the season was an S tier, but now, after the KD files, B tier. It's a B tier. They're still looking like a contender, you know, kind of. Big air quotations there. But what I will say is that they are a team that didn't do a crazy amount at the deadline. They could have done more. Well, they were looking good before the deadline and even after for a bit. But after All-Star break, something flipped. Something changed. It made them worse, and I know what that is. It's the KD files, man. The leaked texts, the leaked group chats. You know, with a team that has such young players, it is crazy to me that KD did all this. Like, that's nuts. You know? But what I will say is that with a team with such young players and so many young players that have been shit on before, you know, like Jabari Smith, he didn't have the most friendly welcome to the league. You know, there are people calling him Buns. Reed Shepherd, they were calling him Buns for a while. You know what I mean? And for him to be, you know, berating his teammates, his young teammates, you know, in secret group chats is crazy to me. It's nuts. Because you know that's going to bring down the morale. You know it's going to make them play worse. So why? It's nuts to me. But nonetheless, it is a B tier, you know, type of season for them. I think they could have done a lot better. They were for a long time the second seed, but I don't know what they are now. I think they are they might be fourth or fifth. I could be wrong, but they dropped. So I'll give them a B. The Indiana Pacers. For all things considered, it's a C, but I will give them a D tier for this one reason. So before I was saying, right, that with a tanking team, there's a lot of things to consider. There's obviously the wins you got. You know, the lower the wins, the better for a tanking team. But not only that, it's your young players. When's the last time you seen Jarris Walker on the court? Never. When's the last time you seen Ray J. Dennis on the court? Never. When's the last time you seen Johnny Furphy on the court? Last time I seen him was when he was dunking on Noah Senge. Nuts in his face and everything. But what I'm saying is this, is that the Pacers, they really went for the tank this year. They they really embraced it. This is the first year of them tanking, and I understand, you know, because they've always had that mentality of, I'm not tanking, we're just gonna go for it, and wherever we land, we land. And they're a consistent playoff team, and this is one of the first years that they're not gonna make it into the play-in or the playoffs. And obviously it's a big part is due to Tyrese Halliburton. So what I will say is this, is that they are D tier because they just didn't develop their players well enough. I just don't think that you can be a tanking team and afford to not, make those young players experience more, PT. Like, they need that experience on the court, or they're not going to be able to be a good asset to the team later on. It makes me wonder, but nonetheless, it is a D tier. But in my heart, it's a C tier. They went with the tank, and they somewhat did it right. They were ethically tanking in a sense. The Clippers. Okay. For the first half of the season, it was an F tier. Crazy F tier. Horrible team. I really thought that OKC would have had a top pick this year. But now, this might be controversial. I'm giving them an A tier. No. I can't give them an A tier. I'm realizing now in my head, no. This is a B tier. Because we have to also take into account what they did at the start of the season. This is not a team that came in and we thought that they were going to be bad. We thought they were going to be good. Like, I thought a unanimous consensus around the league was this Clippers team will be good. They were in the playoffs last year. They looked really, really good last year. But man, they just stunk. They stunk so bad this year. Maybe it's because Norman Powell was actually carrying them last year, and John Collins and Bradley Beal just didn't do squat at the start of the year. I wasn't watching them much because I didn't care. But now, with Kawhi being the claw again, and getting Darius Garland and getting Benedict Mathurin, this team really turned it around. They're looking at the play-in now, and I definitely think they're going to be one of the teams that make it out of the play-in, and they're going to make it to the playoffs. They're most likely going to be a first-round exit, but deep in my heart, I want them to be maybe a second-round exit. I want them to show people that they can actually play ball, they traded away Zubac and whatnot, and I just think that this team could be a lot better. Obviously it could be a lot better. A lot of teams could be a lot better. I just think that they didn't do as much as they could, and maybe that is, like I said, due to getting rid of Norman Powell. Maybe that's because John Collins, Bradley Beal, and whoever may have been the problem, that was their fault. But now it's B tier. Well, technically, if we forgot the first half, it'd be an A tier, but because we can't, it's a B tier. Coming back to that point though, I just think that they've poised themselves they've put themselves in a situation that next year I'm not excited to see. They have some expiring contracts, but overall, maybe I am kind of interested in what they'll do next year. They are some young players. Kawhi's older. Maybe he'll be a good vet. Maybe it might be good. But nonetheless, it'll be an iffy. I think there'll be an iffy season next year. The Lakers. I think it's a B tier. I think it's with the Clippers. It's a B tier. Luka's looking great. And, no, you know what? I'm giving them an A tier. Last minute change. Buzzer beater change. I'm giving them an A tier. Luka's looking great. He's looking like he could be the MVP. He probably won't be. But he's looking like an MVP candidate. Braun is... he's doing his thing. He's not looking great. He's looking old. He's 40 years old. What do you expect? AR, Austin Reeves, he's looking good too. Jake LaRavia off the bench, he's looking pretty good too. Adu Thiero, greatest player of all time. If you know, you know. But DeAndre Ayton is the biggest caveat to this team. He's something that he's a player that I definitely think will bite them in the ass in the playoffs, and I don't think they're winning a ring this year. DeAndre Ayton isn't a player you can win a ring with unless he's from the Suns. Unless it's Phoenix Suns DeAndre Ayton, you're not winning a ring this year because he doesn't want to play ball. He realized himself. He literally he put a tweet out saying, what did he say? He said something like, "Oh, I had to start waking up in the morning and realize I'm not him." What are you saying? How are you gonna be the Lakers starting center and wake up in the morning and tell yourself you're not him? Come on, bro. This is Braun's last year. Make it worth it, man. Nonetheless, bro, DeAndre Ayton, he needs to be out of the league. I don't know. They started restricting DeAndre Ayton's minutes and started playing Jackson Hayes more. even though he's a worse center. But he's better than DeAndre Ayton at least. Like, damn. Anyways, the Grizzlies. I'm putting them C tier. This middle group is a lot, but I'm putting them C tier. They're mid. They're like the Bulls in a sense where they don't know what they're doing and they don't know what direction they're going in. But they at least have been playing their younger players. They moved off Jaren Jackson Jr. They moved off Desmond Bane. Now, you know what? I'm starting to talk myself into a D tier. Like they're bunts, bro. Like, they're actually bad. I don't know if you've ever seen a Memphis Grizzlies game, but they're bad. Like, they're really, really trash. And it hurts my eyes sometimes to watch them play. But what I will say is this. I think that the Grizzlies are at least in a position to be in a tanking arc. They're in their tanking arc. They should have moved off Ja Morant. Like, if they moved off Ja Morant and they got a good first round pick from, who knows, maybe the Blazers, the Kings, the Wizards, whoever it may be, this Memphis Grizzlies team would have been maybe a B tier, because at least they got something out of it. But Jaren Jackson Jr., they got, I think, a couple second round picks and a first round pick. But the first round pick isn't even a good one. It's a Knicks first round pick, I think. Anyways, the Grizzlies just, they somehow continuously shit the bed with stuff that they need to do. And I don't know. I don't want to watch it anymore. I want them to be good. Ja Morant was the face of your team. It's time to move on. It's Cedric Howard now. Or Jalen Wells. They also have, who is that young 5? Zach Edey. Great. Like, they have some young players that are they're going to be good, but I can't say that this was a good year for them. I can't, with my heart, I can't say this was a good year. The Miami Heat. Wow. C tier. It hurts to say. It really, really hurts to say, because I'm a Heat fan myself and a Knicks fan, but nonetheless, I love the Heat. But it's just like, this whole year has been horrible. I'm not going to say horrible. Bam dropped 83 points. It was great. That's great for the league. It's great for the team. Morale, great, right? But somehow, some way, every single year, Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, they band together and they tried to do 1,000 IQ move and try to go out and get a superstar. They were looking at Giannis. They were looking at Ja. They were looking at both at one time. But now, they didn't get anybody. And we're left with, what? Tyler Hero coming off the bench. And he understands his role coming off the bench now, but I can't say that's good enough. We have Kasparis, and he was a steal in the draft. He fell to 20th. He was supposed to be a lottery pick. But what I am going to say is they don't play him. Something I keep coming back to is playing the young players. They don't play Kasparis. They don't play Kel'el Ware. We've seen time and time again, the time that Kel'el is on the floor, he is great. They somehow still keep playing the same players. They keep playing Drew Smith, who is negative so oftenly. Like, Drew Smith this last game, I'm going to say, this was something I saw and I was like, actually, I was cheesed. Drew Smith had a negative 20 plus minus, I think. And Kasparis didn't see the floor. He's a young player who has great court vision. And Kel'el was poised to, like, if Kel'el was on the trajectory that he was at the start of the season to now, he's by far most improved player. By far most improved player. But they don't want to play him. Maybe it's because they don't want to play him because they don't want his value to be so high and him to go in free agency and be like, oh, I'm better. But not playing him is going to make him walk in free agency. He's not going to want to return. Nonetheless, though, I just think that this team, they still don't know where they want to go. I understand, heat culture and whatnot, and, trying hard and never tanking. But one of these days, they're going to need a tank. One of these years, they're going to need a tank. And this was the year to do it. It's either this year to do it, or it was the year to make a move and push for the first seed. And then do either. They just stood still. They're playing once again for the 1,000,000th time in a row. Anyways, that's my rant about the Heat. But yeah, it's a C tier type of season for them. The Bucks, F tier. Our first F tier, the Bucks. All they did this whole year, I don't have much to say, but all they did this whole year was try to please Giannis. That's all they did, is just try to please Giannis more and more and more, and it backfired on them. He's probably going to walk in free agency. He's, everybody's tired with them. They waived Cam Thomas. He was doing good for them. They want to tank. But why are you tanking? You don't have your pick. Oh my God, it's stupid to me. This team, throw them in the trash. Throw them bro, relegate them. I don't care what it is. Relegate them. Bring in Seattle. Bring in Las Vegas now. Get rid of the Milwaukee Bucks, man. They did everything but try and win a ring this year for Giannis. It's the one thing he probably wanted. Still. Timberwolves, A tier. This was a good year for them, I'll say. They picked up Ayo Dosunmu, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I put them in A tier. I definitely think that them being I think they're the 6th seed right now, or the 5th seed, but nonetheless, they could look at being in the play-in, and that sucks. But another thing that sucks is Anthony Edwards isn't eligible for any MVP votes, any All-Star, any All-NBA teams, any all defensive teams, nothing. He's not, because he just missed this last game, and max he can be at now is 64. You need 65, games to at least be eligible. Anyways, that's a video for another time. This team was good. This team was a good team this year. They got rid of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and I definitely thought for a bit it wasn't going to be good for them. He was great in the playoffs last year for them. But nonetheless, though, they still bounced back. Dante DiVincenzo's doing good. Julius Randle is being himself. He's being meh. Anthony Edwards playing out of his mind, may I add. Wow. So all in all, this is a good year for them. Bones Highland has been getting minutes, been playing great. There's not many notes I can give, but great. The New Orleans Pelicans, F tier. I don't have to say much. Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears, they've been playing well. DeJounte Murray's back, cool. Trey Murphy's been playing great. Herb Jones has been playing great, kind of. Zion's been playing, and this all seems like good things, right? But somehow they're still bad, and they traded away their first round pick this year. I don't know what to say other than that's the worst move you could have made. That's definitely a thing that's the thing that really brings them down for me. They traded away the first round pick. This was the year they were supposed to go in and be nasty. Derek Queen was looking like a player who's gonna bring them to the top. Yet again, the Pels, they fall flat on their face. The Knicks, I'm gonna give them an A tier this year. They've been really good. I know that there's been a lot of talk around their wings not playing great. OG Anunoby's been playing okay. Mikal Bridges, bad, really bad. Jalen Brunson's been playing great. The only caveat for this team in winning a ring is Karl Anthony Towns. I'm not gonna say once again. Karl Anthony Towns, he was supposed to come in and be part of the offense and be great, and he is good. But he's time and time again said that he's still working into the team. He's still learning where he is in the team. And we have, I think, 2 weeks left of the regular season. How the hell do you not know where you are? Same thing for Cam Johnson. Lock in. I digress, though. I really, really, really like all the moves that they did to increase their depth. They don't have any Fugaz players now. Tyler Kolek is looking like White Boy of the Year. You know what I mean? They have Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. They got rid of Gershon, which was good. And I don't know. The Knicks bench has definitely evolved. And Mike Brown has been an amazing coach to them. All in all, A tier type of season. Oklahoma, S tier. Need I say more? Jared McCain, greatness. Holy crap. I don't know what they did to that boy. Amazing. The Sixers really, they did him dirty. Selling him, throwing him away. Horrible. Anyways, Jared McCain fits like a glove with this team. OKC is so good. So good. They're the 1 seed right now. Shea's looking MVP material. Jalen Williams is J-Dub. He's looking meh. I really don't know if he's ready for the playoffs. I'm not gonna say he's not ready for the playoffs. He last year he showed that he is ready for the playoffs and whatnot. Jalen Williams, the big Jalen Williams, looking great. You're looking Rachi, really great. Keeson Wallace looking great. The whole team is looking great. I have nothing else to say. Amazing team. One of the greatest teams that I've ever seen play. Orlando Magic, I'm gonna put them in C tier. It seems like they like the Grizzlies and the Bulls. They don't know where they want to be. They know where they want to be. They want to be a playoff team, but they can't get there because Paolo still doesn't understand how to play the game of basketball. Unless you're in the month of March, then he understands. But other than that, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing half the time. Franz is an okay player. He's an okay second option. But look, man, this team brought in Desmond Bane to be great, to pick up the slack from them, missing all the shooting and whatnot, and it just hasn't happened. Nonetheless, though, I have nothing much else to say about them. If I'm being so honest, they are just, they're meh. The 76ers, I'm going to give them a B tier. I did say before I didn't like that their move with Jared McCain trading him away, but what I will say for them is that they've developed VJ Edgecombe into an amazing player. They've actually been playing Joel Embiid, not a crazy amount, but a good amount at least. Tyrese Maxey, oh my days, Tyrese Maxey, such a great player now. Holy crap. They have Quentin Grimes, such a great player again. They have great players. They have such a great bench. They have a great coach, Nick Nurse, doing wonders. Look, all in all, this is a B tier type of season. They did amazing, and they're at where we expected them to be at. But VJ is blowing our minds. He's blowing my mind, at least. The Suns. I'm gonna give them A tier. Like, they're what? They're right now, I believe, the 6th seed or the 7th seed, and they're looking good. Dylan Brooks is looking great. Devin Booker's looking great. Colin Gillespie's looking great. All these players that they have are looking great. The one problem I have with the A tier teams, I keep saying, is why are they not playing the young players? Like, I don't think we've seen 1 second of Kaman Maluach play in the NBA. He's been in the G League forever now. He was brought in to be that player that, like a unicorn, that dominant big. But now what are they doing? They're playing, what do they have? They have Nick Richards, right? Or something. I can't remember who the hell they have. They have, Mark Williams. Mark Williams, that was a great acquisition. I can't even lie. Great acquisition. Mark Williams. Yeah, it's an A tier type of season. Anyways, I digress. Boom. On to the Trailblazers. C tier, forgettable season. I just know Shaedon Sharpe is doing good. Scoot Henderson is looking okay again. Drew Holiday's looking good. He's old, but he's good. He's being a good mentor. All in all, like, Donovan Clingan's looking good as well. Like, I know he's injured, or maybe he's not injured anymore, but anyways, it's a good season. It's just a forgettable one. It's just really a forgettable one. I have no notes for them, really. So, C tier. Sacramento Kings. I'm gonna put them F. No, I guess I'll put them F tier. They're consistently bad. They're always bad. That's the thing. They haven't been bad since 2021. De'Aaron Fox, that run with Mike Brown, amazing. Fired Mike Brown, don't know why. What I'm saying is that they gave Russell Westbrook a chance. They brought in Precious Achiuwa, who has been playing really well. Maxime Reynaud, the rookie, great. All in all, this is like a team that they have a lot of young players, and they're developing them well, but editing. I realized that this part of the clip, for some reason, doesn't have any audio. Weird. What I was saying was that they have younger players, and they should be trying to focus more on them, but they seem more focused on all their older players, and they seem to be trying to win, and it's great and all they're trying to win, but they need to understand that that's not the position they're in right now. They need to just keep tanking and embrace the tank and move on with their lives at the end of the day. Yeah, so that's the editor's note. Thank you. So yeah, I'm just putting them in F tier. They're trash once again. No offense, Kings fans. Trash. San Antonio Spurs, S tier. I don't know what to say other than Wemby is looking like the MVP. I don't know if he is the MVP. Maybe. It's up there though. Stephon Castle, great player this year. He works perfectly with Wemby. They're in sync all the time. Dylan Harper, great rookie. Oh my days. Julian Champagny, great. Like, this whole team is great. I don't know what has been injected into their blood, but they are amazing. Even when they don't have Wemby, they're still actually okay. So yeah, look, nonetheless, they're a great team, and they're one of the contenders. I think they're almost top in the league in offense and defense. Wemby's Defensive Player of the Year. He's taking that crazy leap, bro. Trading with Kevin Garnett and the Monks definitely did wonders for that boy. Yeah, Wemby Defensive Player of the Year. I'd like to say that like Stephon Castle could be like most improved. Like he really, really is good. Obviously, numbers wise, he won't ever be like eligible for most improved. But I definitely think player wise, he's eligible for me most improved. The Raptors, I'm giving them an A tier. I really, really, really like this Raptors season. Colin Murray-Boyles, he's injured, hate it, but he's anyways, Colin Murray-Boyles was so good, and he is still he's so good for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes is looking great. The only problem is Brandon Ingram kind of being in a slump right now. It's brought them to a position where they need to now revolve around Scotty Barnes again. And RJ Barrett is stepping up though. I will say that RJ Barrett's stepping up. Emmanuel Quickley is stepping up. All these players that last year we saw and we were like, yeesh, they're bad. They're all players that are great now. They're really, really good. Jakob Poeltl, great. Like, this team really knows what they're doing. And Darko, he's done wonders for this team. He really understands how to get this team riled up and put together well, and when they really need to win a game. Yeah, Raptors A tier season, truly. Like, great. Also, great pick with Colin Murray-Boyles. Like, yeah, nuts. This Raptors team is amazing. The Utah Jazz. I'm gonna put them C tier. The only reason I'm putting them C tier is because I think they developed their younger players so much better than everybody else. Keontae George mainly. like Cody Williams. Like, Cody Williams actually looking like a genuine NBA player now. Before, he looked like a bum. No offense. He looked like a bum before, but now he's looking really good. Anyways, this Utah Jazz team, obviously they're tanking. Did really, really trash this year, and like numbers wise, but like Keontae George has taken such a great leap. He's a crazy offensive like juggernaut. I'm gonna say, not juggernaut. He can't run through the defense, but he can score the lights out. Damn. Yeah, Lauri Markkanen looked good this year. Cody Williams, he did have a rough start to the season, looked good. Kyle Filipowski, he looked okay. Yeah, like they did well. They acquired Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, this is a good year for them. I definitely, like I've said in the past before, I think next year the Utah Jazz are going to be playing playoff basketball. Like, with the pick that they get this year, they're going to implement them well, like they always do. This is a team that next year they're going to be good. Like, I really think in my heart they're going to be good. Yeah, it's a C-tier type of season. They had fun this year. They did well. They did well. The Washington Wizards. This is a tricky one because they are, like, it's a to-be-determined type of situation. They're built for tanking this year, obviously, but they're built more so for next year and what's going to happen. They brought in Trae Young. They brought in Anthony Davis. This is a team that is looking right now to be bad, but next year maybe be better. And they've kind of come to the end of their tanking era. And Alex Sarr, he's looking okay. He's looking meh, Their defense still needs a lot of work. But what I do think will be great is they let Anthony Davis rest for a lot of the season. They've let Trae Young rest a lot. And although they played a couple games here and there, Anthony Davis hasn't played yet, but Trae Young has. Trae Young looked well. He looked swell on that team. Like, truly, like he looked comfortable. He was back to his old self. What I am gonna say though is that, how much do I believe in this team next year? Not much. I don't believe in them much next year. I could be wrong, but I believe in the Jazz more than I believe in the Wizards. But what I am going to say is that this was a C-tier type of season for them because, like I said, the Anthony Davis acquisition, the Trae Young acquisition, making sure that their young players got minutes. Keyshawn George looked phenomenal this year. Wow. He was definitely a big highlight this year for me. and Alex Sarr looked like he did it. He took a step up, but all in all, I think this team really they're more made for next year. So it is a C tier right now, but I'm gonna say to be determined. All in all, so yeah, this is my tier list. Like, I don't think I'll change much. Maybe I'll change the Pacers to be C tier because, like I said, like the Zubac acquisition, the Clippers trading away Big Zoo, it was weird at the first, but I definitely think that it was necessary. It was very, very, very necessary. So yeah, I think that I have nothing else to say really for this whole tier list. Celtics looking good, Detroit's looking amazing, Oklahoma's looking amazing, San Antonio's looking amazing. All in all, like, the C tier is middle of the pack. D tier, you could have done better. F tier, trash. B tier, better than average. A, way above average. And S, you're title contender. Yeah. I know this isn't like my other videos where I go like super like long and like into depth and whatnot, but yeah, this is just a nice little fun tier list that I want to do. Thank you for watching. One last thing, subscribe.